Turn in the remote.
Okay. Hi, everybody ready?
Yep.
I don't know what it is either.
Good.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Derek, we good? Like being on live TV, I have to wait for the guy to cue me.
It's a commercial.
Watching football. We good? All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I'd like to start the meeting with a moment of silent prayer, please. Thank you. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Swager,
Here.
Mrs. Davis.
Here.
Mr. Benson.
Here.
Mrs. Brewer.
Here.
Mrs. Thomas.
Here.
Reading of the notice.
This is a public meeting of the Board of Education for the purpose of conducting the school district's business, and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes. Upon request of the superintendent, the district shall make reasonable accommodation for a person with a disability to be able to participate in this activity. A recording is made of each meeting of the board as administrative aid and shall be preserved as public documents of the board.
Thank you. Any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I have
It must
one.
be contagious.
Yeah, sorry. I brought some water. Tail end of a cold here. I have one change to the agenda, and it's, if you look at item, or number 8 under my section, depending on how your pages are organized, mine are sometimes a little different. It'll be number 8, and it's the Greater Johnstown Parks and Recreation District. I'll talk about that more, but I put a placeholder in there over the weekend that I have some updated language, and we'll talk about when that gets there. So when you look online, you'll see the updated version, and I'll be happy to, I'll read through that because it'll be more detailed.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't have any other changes to the agenda.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll.
Mr. Benton.
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Swager.
Yes. Any public remarks?
It was none.
None, Sunday? Okay. On to presentations.
So I think our first one's exciting because we want to celebrate student success, and I believe we're going to start with Mrs. Wagner, and you're covering JES and JIS, and technically our JES student is now rolled up into 4th grade, but we're celebrating last year's work, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
And so the 4th and 5th graders, so I know the 5th graders from 1 year, but the 4th graders for 2 years. So I want to thank you this evening. I have the honor of recognizing our elementary and intermediate students who achieved perfect scores on the Ohio State test. I feel like I'm in a room full of really smart people right now. So I'm going to call all the names, and then if we can hold our applause to the end. If you want to come up, are they going to shake hands with all of board members?
Yeah, that'd be great. They could line up in front of us.
We could get them all
Okay,
together, and then
perfect.
some can be seated, some can.
Okay. Ava Arbogast, perfect score on the 3rd grade math assessment.
She said wait. She doesn't want to come up.
Ava? 4th grade math would be Bo Crowder. I'm sorry, 4th grade ELA, Bo Crowder. Out of order here.
Get your.
Fourth grade math, Tucker Wheeland. Fourth grade math, Austin Rainey. For our fifth graders, perfect score on the fifth grade ELA test, Luke Craig. Perfect score on the fifth grade ELA test, Adeline Enestat. And for perfect score on the fifth grade math test, Honor Daba.
Mrs. Wagner, that completes all fourth and fifth grade, right?
Those are all of our fourth and fifth graders, so let's have one big round of applause for all of these students.
Hey, Craig, let's give him
And congratulations to their teachers for this incredible accomplishment. Congratulations, all elementary and intermediate students. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hancock for middle school.
Everyone look this way. Got three. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Thank you.
Hey, great work.
Congratulations.
Unbelievable. Hey, good job. Hey, good job. Yeah, congratulations. Excellent work. Congratulations. Thank you.
I don't want to shake work. Great job, guys.
Great work.
Hey, great job.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
good job. Thanks, guys.
Congratulations.
Man.
Job well done.
Wow, Brad.
Good
Yeah,
job.
great job.
In English, wow, that's impressive.
Congratulations.
All these future mathematicians, right? All engineers, right?
Hey, good job.
Alan.
You're recruiting over there, huh?
Yeah, recruit. All the math people are going to be engineers, right? We need lots of engineers.
We are short.
Pharmacists, doctors.
Yeah.
You can go back to your parents, guys.
Yep, great job.
Great job, guys.
Thank you, Mrs. Wagner.
Really smart.
Thank you, parents and students, for being here with us today to honor our perfect scores. It's our pleasure to recognize our middle school students who earned perfect scores on the Ohio State tests. Perfect score for sixth grade math, Braden Barkhurst. Perfect score for sixth grade math, Cammie Bartley. Perfect score for sixth grade math, Gavin Ferris. Perfect score for sixth grade math, Callum Clutty. Perfect score for sixth grade math, Emily C. Perfect score for sixth grade math, Hannah Smith. Perfect score for sixth grade math, Sam Van Winkle. Perfect score for 6th grade math, Jackson Wood. And another perfect score for 6th grade math, Jolyn Yang. On to our 7th graders, perfect score for 7th grade math, Nash Anstat. And perfect score for 7th grade math, Allison Dewey. And perfect score for 7th grade math, Cece Zarilli. Let's give another round of applause for these middle school students for the remarkable achievement. Congratulations, everyone, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Shipton.
I was going to say, maybe if I put them behind because they're a lot taller.
It's a big group,
Why don't
yeah.
you guys come
Yeah,
behind?
I'm not tall. They're taller than us.
They're a lot taller. Especially if you-
They're taller. Tall middle school.
Yeah, they are.
Get in
Come
between
on,
the-
come on,
be in
the man.
between the two flags, or
Try and stay between the two flags.
Gotta squeeze in.
you can get in front. Yeah, you can get in front.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you want to come in front, you good? Can you get everyone?
Do you want me to scoot down?
Board members kind of slide
Scoot in.
in.
Let Ann in the photo.
They'll let me in this
We'll have to
time.
crop her in.
Everyone look this way. 3. Stay still for the audience.
We do more? Sorry.
Mr. Snyder's getting on.
Good?
Everybody good?
Everybody shake hands, guys?
Yeah.
Thanks. Congratulations.
We tied you the other day. We tied you. Good job. Nice work.
Two sets of siblings.
Everybody? Okay.
Where are we going now?
Oh, shit.
Mr. Ship.
Good evening, Board, President Swager, Superintendent Wagner. Mike Shipton, high school principal, and I have the privilege tonight to recognize our high school students who demonstrated excellence in some of Ohio's most rigorous tested areas. We'll start with Algebra 1. This student last year as a middle schooler, again, this is our high school tests, EOC end of course exams, scored a perfect score of 814 on the Algebra 1 test as an 8th grader. Miss Jessica Yang. As a junior last year, our next award recipient is Ethan Fala, scored a 774 on the American Government test. Come on down. And last, we have Abram Kraus on the American History high school exam, scored a perfect score of 800.
Yeah, if you want to step up behind, we'll,
Scoot in again.
I'll scoot down again.
we're done.
Get Ann in the picture that way.
We'll Photoshop you. Open up the corner.
I'm doing it.
Bookends in.
Product placement.
This way.
Okay. Good? Okay.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Oh, Victoria, right? Yeah, man. Or engineer, one of the two, right? Both.
Oh, congratulations.
Is Debbie Seibel here?
You're okay.
In the back.
We really
I'll
wanted
move
my
over.
spot.
I don't know what I'm doing, right? Man, we're moving too much.
Yeah. I don't know who to do
Want me to do it? Okay.
All right, please join me one more time in applauding our 22 Johnstown-Monroe students in their unbelievable accomplishment of perfect scores on those exams.
Students, we want to thank you for everything you're doing. And parents, we appreciate everything you're doing too, because we know the kids don't do it on their own. They certainly need a lot of support, and also our staff. So we very much appreciate that, including our administration. So thank you to everyone. And you know, perfect scores are great, but we appreciate everyone and their successes they're doing. But thank you very much.
And let's have a round of applause for the parents.
Yeah.
Because with the parents, without the parents, they would not be able to do that.
And then next, we want to address one of our teachers, right? Mr. Schneider? Do you know this?
No.
Come on up for a
He
second.
was just told to be here.
We actually have a plaque for you too, so we wanted to, yeah, why don't you stand up here? Like I said, there's a partnership, right? It's not just, you know, parents have to do this, but staff. But we want to take a moment to highlight the extraordinary impact that one teacher can have on the people or the students they teach. Last year, one of our teachers was responsible for over 1/2 of the perfect scores recognized this evening. Over 1/2 of the perfect scores. That's impressive. We recognize the daily commitment and connection that it takes to guide students to this level of mastery, the challenge of fostering a classroom culture where excellence is possible, and it's not. So tonight we want to recognize Mr. Ryan Snyder, whose instruction has led to 12 perfect scores during the 24-25 school year in the area of mathematics. This accomplishment speaks to the power of great teachers and the difference one educator can make in their community. And then we actually have a plaque for you as well too, just to recognize, and you can come over here and shake the hands of the board members. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Congratulations, that was a job.
I'll have to tell the boys they owe all this success to you,
Oh,
right?
right, yes. Please tell them.
I'll make sure that they hear that, right?
Tell them I'll say hi for you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Isn't that impressive though? I mean, you talk about partnerships. I mean, parents do a lot, but one teacher has 12 of those scores, or help lead that. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Very nice. Mr. Schneider, congratulations and thank you. As a,
Thank you.
And Mr. Schneider, I know you want to downplay it all too, but we brought a new curriculum, we brought in math coaches, you've adapted to all those things, and this is the kind of product you get, right? So you have a great partnership here, and we appreciate it. Thank you. And we got cue the music,
hey,
right?
he was talking too long. We're going to play him right off the stage.
I was quiet when that started. Next, we have a couple quick other presentations. Next, we were going to focus on LCL boys champions, golf champions, but I don't think they're here tonight, right? Is there a conflict or something? Okay. And then we have, so we'll pick that up, that golf, at the next meeting then too. And then next we have financial forecast, and then families, you can leave right after that because we'll have a transition. So I'm going to turn to Mrs. Drummy, and I'll help a little bit, but you have an update on our financial forecast for the school district.
just briefly on the overall district financial forecast, the district is very stable for the foreseeable future. Their revenue is relatively flat, but we are poised to adjust. Might have with changes that are proposed. We can see from our forecast that it does give us a little bit of a runway to make adjustments if we would need to. But I would just say all in all, it is stable and there's no significant changes right at this time to our forecast. And the details will be on an action item later.
Okay.
But on that, in addition to the forecast, I wanted to share a little bit about a process here at the county, because this does go into our forecast overall. I can't see it from here very well. Let me just cue it up on my screen as well.
You want to speak on the podium?
I think people.
Oh, okay. You guys don't take this with me. Is it on that computer? Oh, okay, great. Instead of that, okay. All right, great. So, as we all know, most of our revenue comes from property taxes, and part of how we collect that revenue is through a process of setting the millage rate. And so I wanted to go over a comprehensive but an overview for everyone this evening, with a focus on particular our bond issue that was used for construction of buildings. So the millage rate setting process is really crucial to our school district operations, in particular our capital projects. And annually, our Licking County auditor will review property values and rates in order to determine what needs to be collected so that we can pay our debt obligations. The county commissioners also have a role in this process. It's not just the auditor, it's really a combined partnership. So in this annual rate setting, the county auditor has to look at what our voted millage is, and then look at our property valuations and make an adjustment for that January 1st tax lien date. And this ensures that just the exact right amount of revenue is collected and not anything additional. So typically, how does that process work where he reviews values and rates? This month and into next month, the appraisers will be out looking at properties and reviewing sales data in order to determine what our properties being valued at, and that's critical because that will help him set the precise millage. And when they're looking at this, it does include everything, as I mentioned, for inside mills, our voted levies, but in particular, bond issues. So I want to go into a little bit on understanding what our bond issue millage is. So when taxpayers voted for a bond issue for us to construct school buildings and facilities, it created a structured debt obligation, essentially a mortgage. So we have a mortgage on those school buildings. And this mortgage requires payments of both principal and interest. And in order to have the money to collect or to pay those debts, it comes just 1 year at a time through the annual tax assessment process. So when that bond issue was passed and we got our mortgage, we have payments and we have a complete amortization schedule for the whole life of the loan, what principal and what interest is due each year. And this creates, from that, we have a restricted fund where we're paying those debts. So we can't use the bond proceeds for anything but repaying the debt. There is a minimum amount each year that has to be paid, the principal and the interest. And with careful planning, it helps us to be responsible to just meet just that obligation and not have any excess burden on our taxpayers with any excess in this fund. So how do we make sure that happens? The county auditor helps us. The county auditor, Michael Smith, actually has a statutory obligation to make sure that enough money is collected within accounting for delinquencies, that some people may not pay their taxes, and setting the millage just right so that there's no overcollection, but also ensures that we have enough when those payments come due to pay that debt. And we talked about that. So I think I'm going to skip this. We really talked about this rate setting process. What he does in November, and actually I'm going to go back to here for a second. So when I mentioned about the loan amortization schedule, in looking at what was due for principal and interest this year, I noticed that there were funds, additional funds in this bond fund that's restricted that perhaps were not necessary for the upcoming year. And so we have to report to the county auditor our balances on hand, what the debt payments are, so that he can determine the correct amount of millage. So in looking at this, this restricted bond fund, over time, it's been in place since 2014, so over a decade now. It can creep up. It can creep up from lower than anticipated delinquencies, because remember, the county auditor is setting a rate that is, allows for that. And if more people are paying their taxes on time, then we might have a little bit extra in this fund. So with the balances that I see in that fund, we do have an opportunity of a one-time reduction in the millage that would benefit our taxpayers and still ensure that we have enough money to pay the debt when it comes due next year. So in looking at that, it looks like we would have approximately $466,000 of additional bond fund proceeds. And it does provide us with a unique opportunity to, in essence, return this back to taxpayers. So we would like to bring to you a recommendation to do with this reduction for tax year 26. It would be a one-time reduction of 0.7 mils, which equates to $466,000 reduction in that bond fund balance. We feel like this is a recommendation that's grounded in a thorough analysis of the fund and what is due, and at the same time could provide our taxpayers some temporary relief. So what does that look like for a taxpayer? You've heard me talk about valuation. That's the key driver of how taxes are calculated. This is the valuation amount of all the properties in Licking County. And then $712,000 is the value of 1 mil. That's how much 1 mil would generate in revenue. So for a homeowner of a $500,000 home, that would generate savings of $122.50 next year. So this one-time reduction, it would be 1 year only. So in 2027, the rate would be set to collect what payments are due in 2027. This would not increase what would be due on taxpayers in 2027. It's just what's due is what's due. But it would give some relief. So I think that, too, this really underscores the board's commitment to be responsible for the stewardship of the funds within our district and also supporting our taxpayers with a little bit of relief. Are there any questions about this or additional?
When you go back, can you go back to the slide with the valuation? That's the total property valuation for just our school district, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that $712 million is for
Let me go back a little.
Johnstown-Monroe schools. So that's our 52 square miles, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That is all the properties in our district.
So later in the board agenda, there's a resolution that asks the board, and if you would approve that resolution, then we will return the aggregate of $466,000 in calendar year 26 to taxpayers. Like we looked at a $500,000 home, and that's $122.50.
there's a lot of things that people want, but the number one thing I hear is they need some relief on their property taxes. So I think this goes down that road, when we look at what the schools can provide. Anytime we can provide any relief, I think we owe it to the taxpayers. I think, we're fiscally conservative, to say the least. So anytime we have an opportunity, yeah, I think these are great to go ahead and implement. So we'll be more than happy to vote on that later today.
Appreciate
It's
that.
interesting because, go ahead, were you gonna say something?
No.
Okay. It's interesting because one of the things is, this has been accumulating and now it's really come to fruition this year. But when you look at how this has happened, there's some good things that have happened along the way, right? So Mrs. Drummy's been really digging through this and keeping me up to date on it. But the school district did a bond refinancing in 2016, so that's very much like a mortgage where you just refinance the callable debt if you can to a lower interest rate, and then again in 2020. So those are the kind of things, like longitudinally, those help, and that help, gets us here. The other thing that we've talked about is, we understand this is 1 year and isn't likely to continue, but we know the charge from the board, and, we're looking to the future as well too, because, we're gonna be evaluating what we have in commercial, and is it possible that we could look at some reduction in calendar year 2027 and on? It's a little bit, well, it's not, it's very hard to make that prediction right now, but once we have this done, it gives us about another year to have runway to be able to look at that. So I think we've heard that loud and clear from the board. I know I have for years, so.
And depending on what the legislature does with these current bills that they're pondering right now, we'll see what we can do, but it's a beginning.
Yeah.
And I want to make it clear, too, that the only debt that we have is for the elementary school construction and the high school construction. All the other capital improvements that we've done that without borrowing any money. So the board has been very strong on holding the line fiscally so that we can have the funds available to make other capital improvements to our facilities.
Ms. Bromley, I did have a question. The original bond measure was 37 years, is that correct? That's standard?
Yes, that
for
is
it?
standard.
So when we refunded our bonding, it still stays, it's not like when you refinance your mortgage, you don't go back out to 30 years. You stay at the same years, you just refund the difference there. So we are now approximately 11, 12 years into that 37 years. Is that
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I ask that because I think our charge as the board is to, all new growth needs to pay for new growth, and we don't feel like our taxpayers should pay more. We also, I don't know that you pay less, but it's nice when we can refund some, but the charge of the board has been figure out how to pay for future growth with future growth. We shouldn't put the burden on our current taxpayers to pay for future growth. So I think these types of things and staying fiscally sound is critical for the school district. So I appreciate you looking at this.
Sure.
Is there anything else we didn't cover? Because I know you've got a lot of details on this. Anything else? We
No,
didn't?
I think
Yeah, the other
conclude.
things, and I think this all wraps together, I know we've been working on this strategically, but it's also, when you talk about growth, it's us as a school district demanding a seat at the table so that we watch what kind of growth is coming into the school district. So far, we've been able to manage that, and it's been, it hasn't overrun us, with, because that can put a terrible burden on the taxpayers too if we have to start adding new buildings, The other thing is we're always trying to foster business relationships where we can, because when you think about it, any time an acre or parcel converts to commercial, if we want that restricts residential growth. It preserves or helps stabilize the residential tax base, and a lot of times it provides jobs in the community too, so we can offer them here, and people don't have to go as far to Columbus to find good work. So we're cognizant of that, and I know the board's been very much pushing, to keep us in that realm. And one example is, I think it's almost 3 years ago now, we formed the agreement with the city of Johnstown and had a compensation agreement. And I was on the phone earlier today, and it looks like possibly something more could be coming for the area. So those are the good.
Do you mind explaining, since we actually have some people here, what the compensation, like just generally
Sure.
what a compensation agreement is?
Sure. So a lot of times, people will ask questions about, and they'll hear about abatements and all. And we don't have a choice as a school district so much about what level of abatement can be given. But one of the things we can do is look at how monies are generated for the school district. So In the New Albany Business Park, for example, where we have quite a few properties, the model is structured so that there is an abatement on the taxes, but we get revenue from the payroll. And so the more people that are employed there, the more monies that we get in. And then there's a model that works that, because some of that, I can't do it off the top of my head, I have to, because it's multi-layered, but some of the money goes to infrastructure, sometimes it goes to, expenses for the city. We have a similar, and that's for New Albany, we have a similar arrangement with the city of Johnstown as well, too. So monies will go to the city of Johnstown, helps with their infrastructure, roads, administration, police, they can direct all those monies, but then some come back to the schools as well, too. It's an interesting question, though, because we're often trying to mitigate the whole Intel situation, because people think about, well, Intel is being built. We don't really get any money from that yet because we don't have payroll coming out of that. It's very, very little. There's just some construction, a lot of construction activity that are going there, but that doesn't give us permanency in terms of a funding structure from a payroll standpoint.
No, I
Good?
appreciate it.
Yeah.
All those kids that just aced the math test, now you got,
There'll be a quiz.
there'll be a quiz on our finances later, so I appreciate their attentiveness.
And let them go before we change.
Better let 'em know.
Yeah, at this point, we are going to switch to some board committee meetings. If you choose not to stay, now would be a great time to escort yourself out.
And congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations to everyone.
Take it easy. Amber, you have to talk him into going Sunday nights. Push him out. Yes, please do.
Yeah, you kids really like
That's okay. Why did we
Snyder.
surprise you? I was like, okay, sorry, I didn't mean to.
Snyder.
Yes, that's Cooper's favorite teacher.
Yeah, my kids really like it. I would say in middle school that he was probably I'm sure he was their favorite teacher.
He's leaving us.
They liked him and they liked Mrs. Puderi.
I'm just.
Mrs. Puderi had kind of a bite to her.
Thank you.
Yeah, get in the front row, right? You didn't sign up, right?
How are ya? Good.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, I missed you, Gary.
It's fine. I just kept talking.
You see me like,
I saw you.
yeah, I was like
Yeah, Lucy
hovering.
texted like, we're done band. I'm like, I gotta go. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
It's really comfortable. Really comfortable. It's like the church.
What a
pew is
group,
so
right?
comfortable.
Hey.
Oh, you're welcome. I didn't know we had so much company.
It was a good thing, right?
It was a good thing.
So that's her, that's her staff body works. Oh,
We used alcohol.
Yeah.
We used alcohol, so we pushed it.
Gasoline on my hands. It's sanitized. We just poured gasoline. All right, well, we are.
Back to
You
business.
good? You want to turn your back on?
I will.
All right. Well, I do want to thank all those parents and kids that showed up. That was, it's exciting to see all the children, but it's also the successes of, we do a lot at the board. You do a lot of the behind-the-scenes work, and you don't necessarily always get to see the kids at the board meeting. So it's exciting to see all of them show up and be recognized for their accomplishments. So I do appreciate that, and obviously the work of the staff and teachers there at each of those buildings. So thanks again. And with that, we will move on to board committees.
Yeah, we have quite a few to cover. We'll have some that are coming up, so you can see the dates there. We have athletics, extracurriculars coming up.
I think I responded today. Is that noon next Monday?
I believe so.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
10:20.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll have
We're
to
good
send you
for
an update.
noon next Monday.
Right.
Mine has updates in here because maybe
Yeah.
yours doesn't.
No,
But
it
we
doesn't,
have
but-
October 20th on that. Buildings, grounds, and safety, that's also going to be October 20th.
Yeah, I got approval today to take a half a day next week to go to that.
Vacation?
Yeah.
Take vacation, yeah.
Did they say goodbye? We won't miss you? Don't bother.
Curriculum we'll have at the end of the month, around the 27th of October, okay. Finance, we had that today, so we can report on that, right?
Yep, well, Felicia went over the
Sounds like she covered
highlights
most
of
of it.
what we went over today and what we've been working on. So basically, we're able to ask the county to lower the millage for next year by 0.7 mils. So that would save our taxpayers some money on their taxes for next year. And again, this is just the only debt that we have is on the elementary school and the high school. And it goes back to that bond that we originated in 2014. And I thought the most surprising thing to me when we were talking about everything was we used $500,000 for the average price of the home. The median price for the home in our school district is $487,000, which is shocking to me, right? To see how our community has changed over the past few years. So that's why we're really needing to try to get relief to the taxpayers, because the valuation of all the property within our school district has radically changed over the last few years. And then we did some other mundane things. We looked at the 5-year forecast and some other things, but the main highlight for the community would be what Felicia went over. And that was a meeting with the Finance Committee, which is Felicia, Dr. Wagner, Mrs. Boer, and myself. So, thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
And then we have insurance coming up October 21st, and that's going to be an important meeting because Ruth Ann and Ann will be there, but we're getting our rates, trying to get the rates set for the coming year, so that'll be important. And then we did have policy. We had that on September 17th.
We made our way through the Neola 44.1 update, and it was just a variety of different policies, and they're all on the agenda for first reading.
Excellent, thank you.
We don't have anything set up for strategic planning, economic development, construction projects yet. We probably need to do that. I'm going to have an update in my comments about the city building and some of the work we're doing there. And in your weekly report, I gave you a little preview, and I have more data that just came in about 2 hours ago about some of the costs associated with that. But we'll get something scheduled there. And then other than that, I have LPDC if you're ready for me to do a quick update on that.
Yep.
So the meeting was held on September 16th. Those in attendance: Stephanie Stuckey, Laura Kurtz, Renee Britton, Annette Price, Robin Wagner, Abby Fitz, and Brad Werman. They look at individual professional development plans for staff. 9 of those were approved. They had 1 return for questions, modifications. They also approved some staff who participated in professional development to make sure that the work that they did aligns with their individual professional plans. Occasionally, we have a few staff members who leave the school district, so they're still working on exit reports. So if they're actively working working after our school district, then they need their license work transferred. So everything is transferred next school district. We have to, every school district that is the sending school district of the staff member has to send a report to the receiving school district. Some other things that the local professional development committee is working on is there's going to be a new system that is going to replace the existing one. They're going to get some training on it. The official transfer date is October 31st to switch software packages, which is required. And then at the meeting on the 23rd, they're going to work on some training at that time. And then they had some one more thing, they had additional licensing for one of the school psychologists, because there's a different licensing board now than it used to be. It doesn't follow the same process as teachers do. And then their next meeting is scheduled October 23rd in the board office conference room at noon.
Excellent, thank you. Moving on to consent.
Resolution 25-10-206 is approval of consent agenda.
Can I get a motion
So moved.
and a second?
I'll second.
Want me to go through all these?
Please do.
Okay. First one are unpaid days, so you can see there's a couple staff members there. We don't talk about the reasons, but we verified that, so we're recommending that the board approve unpaid days for those staff members. The next item are salary degree changes, so staff have a criteria they have to follow in order to get advance on the salary schedule, and those two staff members met that. We have some tutors who can help with the middle school and high school for students. We have some after-school work, so we have a list of staff here. This is our total list. It doesn't mean we're going to use everyone on the list, but if we need them, this is primarily for study tables and all. We have a list of volunteers that are following, and it was either the last board meeting or the board meeting before, there was a question about volunteers, and I remember that we did an update for the board in January of 25. We'll do another update in January 26, so you can see what the what the volunteers are doing, so we can share that with the board, and the number of volunteers and how they're being utilized. We usually wait till about mid-year for that, because things settle in by that point. We have a good sense of how many people are going to, have been volunteering in the schools. Next, we have a cafeteria substitute. It's all as written there. The next item is a policy technical correction, and it's a separate policy. And what this is asking the board to approve this because it's really for any non-substantial changes that are in our policies, and we don't have to bring them back to the board. And then we can make, so those are ones that really aren't substantial. So I'll give you an example on one. In our previous policy, the Office for Civil Rights in Cleveland was the closest office we had to use federally for any kind of disability referral, and that office has been closed. So now the closest office in Washington, D.C. So rather than bring a policy to the board and say, we approved some of these non-technical ones, we're asking you to approve that. Other examples, and it's interesting in board policies, it changed years ago, but when you have your compliance officers, we have to name the compliance officers in the policy. If one of those people leave, we don't have to bring the policy back, we can just change the name.
Yeah.
So there's nothing
Anything non-substantive.
Non-substantive, but, not every school, that just makes it smoother for the board. We're asking you to approve that. Board meeting minutes are there, and the finance report, the monthly finance report is there from the treasurer's office, and that completes consent unless there's questions.
Any questions, comments on any of that? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Boer,
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Swager,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Benton.
Yes.
Moving on to your recommendations.
I have a couple for you this evening. Resolution 2510-207 would be to approve a donation from the estate of Kathleen Francis Dunn in the amount of $50,000 for the district arts program.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
I'll second. Sorry, or who, if you want to do it, Rudan, that's fine.
Either way.
I think Alan said something.
Alan made a motion.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We have a second?
Yeah.
Of Ann.
Got it.
Okay.
Can I comment on that?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we've worked closely with the Dunn family, Master Fair, and really pleased by this. I've been talking to their family. So this is for Kathleen Franz Dunn, and we're going to do some work on this, off some updates for the board. We just kept it at a high level right now, and Felicia put into a restricted fund. It'll be for the district art program. One of the things that we're going to do with the Dunn family next time they're traveling here is they have some work from Kathleen Franz Dunn, and they want to share that, either put it on loan or donate that to the school district. And then what we'll do from a curriculum instruction standpoint, teaching and learning, we'll work with the staff and see how we're going to dedicate these dollars, but we want you to accept it here. While we're on the Dunn family, I tell you, there's another donation that'll probably come in next month, similar thing from the estate. It's about $10,000, and we're looking to potentially earmark that too.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Very nice of them.
Great, very grateful.
Very
Yeah.
grateful for them.
I think so too.
The Dunn family's always been very supportive of the school district.
Yeah,
we
and-
thank them very much.
And I think what's good about it is, $50,000 is a lot of money, but it can get lost in the general fund. So the fact that we're earmarking it and the family is very appreciative and cooperative, actually, so we can really have a meaningful use of that money.
No, it's super appreciated. So, any other comments, questions on that? Call the roll.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Boer?
Yes,
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Next item is Resolution 25-10-208. This is a recommendation to approve the reduction of .7 mil, or $466,000, in the bond rate fund for tax year 2026.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
second,
Questions, comments on this? We got the presentation. I really appreciate it, and I think it's the right thing to do, so. Any other questions, comments? Call the roll.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mrs. Boer?
yes,
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Resolution 25-10-209 is to approve the fiscal '26 permanent appropriations and amended certificate of estimated resources.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
And a second.
Second.
Any questions, comments on this? We've all seen this document.
Yeah.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mrs. Boer?
yes,
And the last treasurer recommendation, 25-10-210, would be to approve the district financial forecast.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make the
moved.
motion. Oh, go ahead, Ruth Ann.
I'll second.
We're on the
We're on the
finance
committees.
committee, so we gotta move along, right?
We
But
have a
we've all
motion
seen
by
it, right?
Ruth Ann.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have a second?
Yeah, second, I'll second it.
Second by Alan. Any questions, comments on this?
The excitement.
Any-
It's the excitement of being on that committee.
Will
Yes.
this be going on our district website?
The forecast? We could do that if you'd
Yep.
like. I haven't traditionally posted it on the website, but we can do that. if that's-
I like it.
I would do an abbreviated
Oh.
one. It's
Well, that's
multiple-
well.
What I provided.
yeah,
This
The
will go on
abbreviated-
after the minutes of this meeting are approved the next meeting, then we
well,
can
then
put
it-
it on.
That's
Yes,
right.
I
Yes,
agree.
and
That's
it
right.
is always included in the, if someone looked at the board minutes,
Yes.
they would find the
Yep.
forecast, it's
And it's
always been
attached in there.
Okay.
Okay,
sounds
good idea, thank you. Any other questions, comments? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Boer?
yes,
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution 25-10-211, Greater Johnstown Parks and Recreation District.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
This is a resolution that I said is modified. I did a placeholder in there. If you'll tolerate this with me, I'm going to go through and read this so we're clear on it. There's two main points in this, though, I'll tell you. One is that it extends the term from 10 years to 30 years. And the other item is that it would no longer have that voted upon fifth position, where in the past it was the two city and the two school district representatives voted on their fifth member. We would remove that option if this is approved tonight, and then it becomes a Monroe Township can appoint. Okay? So whereas the City of Johnstown and the Johnstown-Monroe Local School District Board of Education are presently parties to an agreement dated August 3rd, 2021 regarding the establishment of the Greater Johnstown Joint Recreation District. And whereas the city and the school district have determined that it would be beneficial to the greater community to incorporate Monroe Township as a member of the district, and whereas the district has approved the membership by resolution adopted at its August 28th, 2025 meeting, and whereas the city and the school district find it advantageous to amend such other terms and conditions of the agreement as are set forth in more detail below. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Johnstown-Monroe Local School District agrees to the following. There's two amendments. The first one is consistent with the resolution adopted by the District Board of Trustees August 28, 2025, and effective as the same. The township shall be deemed to be a member of the district and party to the agreement. Part B of that is that Section 2 of the agreement, term and duration of the district shall be struck in its entirety and shall read as follows. The district shall be a body public in the state and exercise powers conferred by Sections 755.12 to 755.18 of the Ohio Revised Code. The district shall be created on or before January 1st, 2022, and shall exist for a term of 30 years, provided that the term of the district may be renewed and extended for additional successive years, or 10, by appropriate resolutions adopted by the parties. Any party may withdraw from the joint recreation district upon certification of a resolution proclaiming a withdrawal to the Joint Recreation District Board of Trustees. Number 2, the other terms, all other terms, conditions, and provisions of the agreement not specifically modified therein shall remain in full force and effect. The terms and provisions of this amendment shall become effective and operative upon the last day of adoption by the city, the school district, or the township. That's the entirety. Sorry, I know it's a mouthful, but a lot of legal language there.
Thank you. I do want to thank the city of Johnstown, their current council, for working with us on this, and then also the Monroe Township trustees, Scott Hendren, Troy Hendren, and Joey Robertson, for their work, because this district is where the area has to go, in our opinion, and working with those two bodies to all come to agreement that if we really want to provide the recreational resources that are needed outside of the school district, but within the same community, the three of us, the three bodies of political bodies, need to work together, and this is a demonstration of that. So I greatly appreciate the current township trustees and council members for joining us and moving this forward, because this is where we're going to provide a greater relief on all of our resources, because I think everyone that comes up to the school understands we don't have enough athletic space currently for our own uses, let alone additional that will be coming as growth comes to the area. So we'll be leaning towards the Greater Johnstown Parks District to be the leader in figuring out how that future is shaped. So I appreciate it.
It expands our eligibility for funding,
It does.
grants, et cetera, at every level. So it's a really good thing, rather than trying to stay independent.
Yep.
If the board approves this tonight, then it goes to the city, they have to approve, and then the Monroe Township approves, and then it all becomes official. And I should have mentioned at the beginning, we had that 30-day wait period. We had no negative comments, or any comments for that matter, but anything that would impact this change. So all three bodies are now available or can approve this if they wish.
Excellent. Any other questions, comments on this?
Yeah, well, we're hoping that the change tonight will help give some traction to their efforts going forward. That, you know, they're going to have the ability to do some funding issues, and that may become available to them that they were not able to seize on in the past. So I think it's a great thing, and I think that, you know, this has been something that we've been talking about for a number of years, and I think we're going to have to, we put them in a position where they can really move forward quickly.
I agree. All right. Anything else? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
No.
Mrs. Boer?
Yes,
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
So what I will do then is I will share this resolution with the city and with the township and keep everyone updated.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Next resolution is related. This is Resolution 25-10-212. This is Greater Johnstown Parks and Recreation District Board of Trustees.
Can I get a motion
I'll make the motion.
and a second?
Second.
We're waiting too long.
We have two available positions. Even with the last resolution, we still have two positions, so we need to fill that. So we have recommendation of Darrell Warnett, who's been with the committee for some time, has done a great job, and Frank Sia, who was filling an interim, or filling the rest of a term and would like to continue, and he's done a nice job as well.
Any questions, comments on that?
No, and we want to thank them for their time. You know, public service is a thankless job often, and for them to commit time away from their families to participate in this, we're very thankful.
Absolutely. All right, call the roll, please.
Mr. Benson?
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Resolution 25-10-213, multi-purpose building conceptual design.
Can I get a motion? Can I get a motion?
Discussion.
Just
Yes,
pausing.
I'll
Yeah, that's the only way we can.
I've done too much.
And can I get a second?
I'll second.
So what you have in front of you tonight, and yeah, you can broadcast that. Just conceptual designs. We need some work on this still, but one of the things we're looking for tonight is some direction that we're going to go to mason building as opposed to some of the metal. And then we'll have this, we'll get some more concrete bids on this. But what you see is, I know you've seen some of this in the past, but just wanted to kind of talk through it a little bit and what you're seeing here. So this is all, again, solid building. It changes the structure inside of the building as well, so we have more space. You no longer have those arch supports with a prefab steel building. And then on the, and we can go through and look at each of the 12. But what you have on the first 3 slides are what are considered the base bid. So what you have there are, that's a repitched roof. If it's a repitched roof, so you just have the masonry design, and you can see, you know, what that is considered as the base bid. If you turn to the fourth one, keep going, one more. There you go. This is the same roof line, but this is with cupolas on it. And with those, you can see there's 3 different renderings of those, just different angles. You can see. And then the next alternate we have,
Well, I mean, they all look nice. I think it's, to point out the cupolas, that was mirrored off the downtown, the Opera House, to look like that, to carry a look from downtown out here. We like them. You know, for us as a board, it comes down to dollars. Those are the types of things we'll have to decide. It's not which one do I like the best, it's which one do I like within the budget we have.
Yep.
Now,
So-
tonight's business is actually just approving that any one of these alternative bids would be appropriate, like
Correct.
base bid, 1,
correct,
2,
and we'll get,
three.
and we'll get costs for you, and
We'll
we'll
get
get,
costs,
yeah,
and
you're
we'll
not,
decide which
that's
one
why I don't
to
have any
get. Okay,
dollars in
great.
there. But it is a shift from the steel building to this is what we really need, because one of the things we want to be careful of was with our design professional architects, we don't want to have them keep drawing and drawing and drawing and thinking they're going to.
You're looking at a blend here.
Yeah.
You have metal on the top. and-
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that ties
okay,
in,
so
like
it's
we
a-
had talked in with
right.
committee, that ties in with a lot of the motif,
Right.
I'll call it, but in the district, and it pulls some of those threads through. But this is a structure, you know, it's a masonry structure, if you will, or a solid structure, so you don't have those center supports, you know, that, I'll say,
Oh,
like
I
rob
see
some,
what you- sure,
rob some
sure.
space, because if you remember those, because of the, and when we talked about repitching the roof, some of those would jet out about 4 feet, or maybe 3.5, and then you have to put
On each
padding on
side.
it.
On each
So you
side,
got
yeah,
8
we're
feet.
losing 6, 7, 8 feet on
Right.
the inside.
So, yeah,
Yep.
there's a cost aspect of this. If you go to the next alternate, this is without the cupolas, but now you have reverse gables.
You have a cable,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, you have your standard gable, but then a reverse on there. And then the last one, or the last
Gives you everything.
alternate, is really puts everything together if you go to alternate
Gables and-
3. So you have reverse gables and the cupolas.
That looks the best, but, I mean, let's be realistic, that's gonna be the most expensive, so we'll have to look at those.
Yeah.
That's what
Put
we'll
my
have to.
checkbook away.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, keep it out.
in my opinion, that's the nicest looking of them, the reverse gables and the cupolas.
It really is, it's a great
That's a
building.
looking, yeah, it's a good looking building.
Well, and what we'll do is, and the way this is structured, BHSM's done a nice job on this, so we'll get the base bid like you see it here, and then we'll take the base bid without the changed, or the same roof lines and cupolas. Here's what that upcharge is on that. If you want to go to reverse gables without the cupolas, that'll be your, and then the last one is everything put in there, reverse gables and then cupolas. So we'll have 4 different renderings, or 4 different options.
Has this been submitted to any other organization but ours? Okay, I'm just curious.
No. No, I need more direction, or some direction from the board, and that's one of those things where I don't want to get you don't want to lean out too far in front of the skis, as people say, so, yeah, I don't want to
We
do
gotta
that.
be able to afford it before we,
Yeah,
well, I mean, not that, you know,
No,
what I mean, if you put it
agree.
forward,
I just
then,
didn't know whether we had, that's why I was.
Yeah.
asking.
nope, this is everything that you see, but I just looking for approval to continue with the conceptual design. The big difference is moving from a metal to a solid structure like this, which I think the board agrees on, but I want to make sure we talked about that in committees in the last work session, so I want to make sure that we have direction, so we're not, like I said, spending additional dollars, redrawing.
Yep.
And I think Mrs. Brewer said it best, if the board approves, this will be one of these 4 designs, and it just comes down to
Yeah.
financials.
all right. Any questions, comments on those? All right, let's call the roll.
Mrs. Brewer?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll keep everyone updated because there's a lot of work there, for all of us and a lot of work ahead also. Eventually, Mrs. Brewer, we are starting conversations with the city though, just once we get a little closer on a final design, but we already know what the footprint's gonna look like after tonight, so then it's a matter of talking to the city and make sure we're, okay. Next item is resolution 25-10-214, Club Sport Bowling.
If I can get a motion
I'll make the motion.
and a second.
I'll second.
As a reminder to the board, there's no cost for the Board of Education, but we need this, well, if you approve this tonight, if we approve this tonight, it allows students to participate in the OHSAA tournaments that are coming up.
I think we had like 8 or 10 in it last year. I saw some photos of some
Yeah.
of the kids down at
Yeah.
Mr. Bill's HPL bowling down there, so.
Yep.
They did a nice job.
Yeah, it looked like they had a lot of fun, so.
Yeah, I think they did.
They did.
Was Shadow in charge of that last year, I think, or someone like that was running that? Okay. No, I didn't hear anything negative about it. I heard a lot of fun time
They had a good time.
and got, 10 or 12 more of our kids into an extracurricular, so I appreciate it. Any other questions, comments? Call the roll.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Resolution 25-10-215, Club Sport Swimming.
And can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
And a second.
Same thing here, no cost, additional cost to the board, and allows the students to participate in OHSAA tournaments for swimming.
Are they going over to Newark Y like they were before? Do we know?
That's,
Is Miss
They
Furr
actually,
doing this?
went to New Albany recently, because I just talked to.
Miss Furr's doing it, and
what
they're
I-
going to Newark? Huh.
Well, they were at New Albany not too long ago. I just talked to Ashley today.
I think they're
So-
practicing over there
Yeah.
mainly, but, okay. Are they joining forces with Northridge again, do we know? We are, same share, okay. All right, that's all I've got. I didn't,
I know
again,
we-
I heard a lot of positives, it gives students
Yeah.
another opportunity, and,
Yeah.
obviously, we don't have a swim site here on our campus, and do not anticipate having one anytime soon, so.
No ponds. We could go for a
Natatoriums.
pond.
Natatoriums are not
Pond.
being
Yeah, we should get right on that
constructed anytime soon that I'm aware of. So I appreciate the work of Ms. Furr, and then also with Northridge and joining and be able to give our students another opportunity. So it's nice that we have that cooperation
Yeah.
amongst them. Any other questions, comments on swimming? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Resolution 25-10-216, second reading of revised policies, and we have one there, 5780.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
And a second.
I'll second it.
Any questions, comments? Call the roll.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Resolution 25-10-217, second reading, rescind policies, and they're all listed there.
Can I get a motion
I'll make this motion.
and a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions, comments? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer?
Yes.
Resolution 25-10-218, second reading of replacement policies.
Can I get a motion
I'll motion.
and a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions, comments on these? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer?
Yes.
Resolution 25-10-219, first reading revised policies.
Can I get a motion
I'll motion.
and a second?
I'll second it.
Questions, comments? Call the roll.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer?
Yes.
Resolution 25-10-220, first reading rescinded, to rescind policies.
Motion, please,
I'll motion.
and a second.
Second it.
Questions, comments on the rescinding? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Resolution 25-10-221, first reading of replacement policies.
Motion, please.
I'll motion.
Second.
I'll second it.
Any questions, comments on these? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer?
Yes.
Resolution 25-10-222, first reading new policies.
Motion, please.
I'll motion.
I'll
Second.
second it.
Question, comment on the new policy? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mrs. Brewer?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
I wish the policy committee were busier, don't you think?
You're right.
Yeah, we have lots of fun, you know,
Oh, yeah.
don't we, Amanda? You know,
Yeah.
it's a blast.
In all fairness, though, that there's
Sometimes
a
it
lot
is.
of work that goes into that, though, too. You know, I mean, it's not only policy committees, but then the board, all the board members are given copies. I know that goes quickly through the process, but it's labor intensive. And certainly Derek does an excellent job leading all that and keeping all that organized. So.
All right, do we have any board comments on anything?
I had one comment about the Veterans Day. If we're doing ceremonies and things, I received the American Legion 254 newsletter today, and he didn't have the dates in there yet, and so kind of indicated he was looking for some dates from the school district.
Yeah, this is, I'm trying to think like who I talked to, maybe it's Commander Sable. I'll follow up with him, because Mrs. Thomas sent me that newsletter, so I'll follow up with him on that. I appreciate it. You keep me updated.
I got an email from them asking if people would go for the veterans to actually be involved. I got that yesterday, so I don't know if they.
We have it all organized in the buildings, and we'll get dates to make sure they have it.
And
I
then-
appreciate that they even said they haven't produced a newsletter. I read what you sent me,
Yeah,
and so
Bruce-
they're getting back online with that.
Yeah, Bruce is starting to print it again.
Yeah, there was a lot
put it
in- there was a lot of
together. There's a lot of
detail in it.
information in
Yeah,
there.
a
Found
lot
it
of
very
detail.
useful and forwarded on to you.
And we'll get that,
And then also, since the end of the 9 weeks is October 16, will we receive the discipline reports then at the spreadsheet that just tallied them up for the
Sure.
first 9 weeks?
yep.
And then the January 1st meeting, hate to bring it up because it's a few months away, but I might have I was just checking to see if it would still be the second Monday of the month in January.
I can,
It usually is, but I mean, I just
we
wanted
don't
to
have
have-
that set yet because.
We've got a
um,
statutory date. that we have to
Yeah, you have
do
to do
that.
you have to do the organizational in the first 10 days, but I haven't done it yet. Tell me
Oh,
what,
Then it won't be the,
tell me what what's the conflict, and I'll look at it.
You can just email him the
it
conflict.
might be,
and see. Yeah.
my mother-in-law might need to have surgery, and I might
Okay.
need to go out there. But they haven't scheduled it yet, she's just doing testing, but,
Okay.
you know,
Well, there's two
as the
parts
crow
to that.
flies, everything's taking a little bit of time.
Oh, absolutely. We have to have an organizational meeting by the 10th, you don't have to have a business meeting. We typically will piggyback those. So
Okay.
we'll see what we can do. If you just let me know what your time frames are. I haven't done anything with that yet because we'll get that set for next year. And
I know it's a little early. I just,
no, it's fine. Well, listen, I mean,
It's not-
schedules are
it'll be here
challenging
before
right
you
now.
know it.
well,
I know.
exactly. And, a lot of the surgeons won't schedule after a certain time in December anyways and put it into the new year, so.
Yeah. No, I'll you let me know what that is, and that's a good reminder. I'll get to the
Wow,
board.
you're organized.
Okay.
You're really organized.
Any other board comments? Moving on.
I don't want to steal your thunder because I know you're going to talk about the PTO event, but I just have to say, I thought it was incredible. The PTO did a fantastic job. I love that students from kindergarten through 12th grade were involved. I mean, those high schoolers were actually out there, and I was so proud of them. But just from beginning to end, well thought out, extremely well executed. I can't even imagine the amount of planning, hours, physical labor. I just thought it was an incredible community event, and I just got to say thank you.
Great first year. We'll
Yes.
expect more next year.
It was,
Yeah.
it was a great first year. It was so much fun, and I saw
Yeah.
so many community members out, but also just to see, I got a kick out of seeing all the kids come across in the parade down the track.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cute.
They had so much
I
fun.
thought it's, as they get to high school, the group gets smaller because
Yeah.
you've
They're
got them
already
on
out
the
there.
band.
They were already out
Right,
there.
right,
The
doing
team, the
all
track,
those-
the
right.
golf,
Yeah.
the volleyball.
Right. And that's what I like, actually, is that it got smaller and smaller because they're all participating in
Yeah.
other activities.
Yep.
So it's great to see that.
And I thought it was great also to honor all the fall sports at the same time, too.
Yep.
so.
All right. Anything else? We'll move on to superintendent comments.
Well, I'm glad you're stealing the thunder there because it bears repeating. I've told the PTO it looks like we were in year 10. Like it was
Yeah.
that well run.
It was.
Yes.
I think I shared this. Mr. Giannino knows. I think each booster organization is going to receive about $7,500, give or take.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
it was good.
So I'm going to
You need
round
more
it up to
precise.
7,500 or
That's awesome.
But I mean, that's tremendous
Amazing.
for the first time out. And then one of the things that talking to PTO about is seeing about fundraising early on, because now you have a successful program, more people want to participate. But like I've said before, and put a bow on this, it's not only the financials in this, but it's the community pride. So many people were positive
That was
about
awesome.
that, and I just think it showcases what's special about Johnstown.
And the weather was
Absolutely.
perfect.
Weather was
Yeah, yeah.
perfect. We can take no credit for that, except we were just watching the entire time. You gotta, it's like graduation. You just watch and hold your breath. So that was good. Homecoming was this recently, and I had no phone calls over that weekend, so that's a good thing. Because you were there, though. But yeah, that really did go well. And we're happy for the students. They had a nice, successful event. So I've heard good things. There was like an after party too, and everything went well. So.
Largest attended, Images Holdings was the largest attended dance.
Wow.
That's
Great.
Did you want to say anything to everybody? Come up to the mic if you
Come
would.
up to the mic.
Come up to the mic. Well,
Just
'cause
so the
otherwise,
audience can hear.
Anybody on video, if they're watching this, they're not going to be able to hear it because the mics don't pick up that well. I actually didn't even see behind the computers, so I thought, who is that talking over there? But I can see.
Yeah, this was our largest attended homecoming event. We had almost 400 students there. So we had over 390 students attend. Shout out to the community members who came to help chaperone because we couldn't do it without them with that many kids. And a lot of support staff who helped out, like Heather Hamilton, Tina Cox, helped tremendously with helping me to manage fees and ticket sales and stuff like that because I can't be everywhere at once. So it was definitely a community effort.
Yeah.
And of course, my students, the senior class officers who helped organize this, put it together. Bruce Huffman came out and helped with a couple student council kids to decorate. decorate. So we had a lot of help this year that made it a very successful homecoming.
none of that happens without good leadership, right? A lot of planning, so we appreciate everything you're doing. And Mr. Shipton, this is the second year we've used parents as and community members, and that's a little bit of a surprise. Last year we worked through that, and it's gone really well though. So
That's great.
none of that happens without good leadership, so thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Craig McDonald always does a good job, making sure that we're keeping our communication lines open, and we've been working for some time with Senator Schaefer. We actually came out a couple weeks ago in a nice conversation with him, and it was almost about an hour and a half, I think he spent with us. The last 20, 25 minutes, we stood in the high school and talked about school funding. I know it was brought up a couple times legislatively today. He was really surprised and actually asked for a lot of details, which we're following up on with some of the legislation. He was pleased at some things the legislature had done, and I said, it actually isn't what you think, and he was very receptive to that. One of the things that legislature is involved with is emergency, and they're eliminating emergency or legacy emergency and substitute levies. I don't like the nomenclature of emergency, but it's just been on the books forever. I think it would have been interesting to change that language. But anything that's been when we had legacy levies, we've been able to renew ours, and we did ours in 2023. And what's interesting about that's been eliminated now. So if we were to continue that levy, more of our work to do, that now changes the structure because it's no longer a legacy, which means approximately, we have to do better math than this, but just at a high level, it's most likely a 12.5% increase to our taxpayers to generate the exact same dollar amount that it would under the current structure. And the reason that is because it relieves the state of Ohio when you have these new levies, it relieves them of the 12.5%. Again, it might materialize, so I don't want to lock in at 12.5%, but it's a lot of money. And again, that shifts the burden locally, and he was very surprised to realize that. I think he thought that the legislature was voting for something else. So that talks about what we have to do as public bodies advocating for those things. So, more to come tonight. Anything more with that today?
Just that, that's referring to that rollback homestead, that part of legislation also is giving the Budget Commission authority to piggyback on that and double that rollback homestead relief.
Which sounds good to reduce taxes, but the other side of it is how are we going to fund some of these programs? And it's not just the school districts, though. In some of this, they're talking about changes. I mean, it would change funding in general. So
Right, it affects cities and townships.
City,
and everybody.
townships, your
Senior
first
levies,
responders,
libraries,
libraries. So
fire.
a lot of work we're doing there on lobbying or trying to get involved. I didn't say lobbying per se, but getting involved with our elected officials. But anyways, good visit from him, productive. I'll wait until do the security update at the end because it's probably easier if you want to get that queued. One of the things that the board asked about, and then we had a parent committee, and they're in a couple places here. I'll just lift this one. Some of the student recognition is coming together. We're going to make sure this is here. We're still going to get more of it in here, but you can see how some of it is starting to come together. So you can see it. But isn't that great the way it's
That's cool. Neat. Very
the way
nice.
they hang this. These are just two. There's basketball over there, and you can see what we have here for track. More to come. But capturing all of these honors. I mean, this one, I think the oldest I see is 1978 in here. So, we'll go back and get all the records. It takes a lot of time to get all this detail, making sure we don't miss them. Isn't that awesome?
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very
and
nice.
more of these to come. Trying to figure out how many we have exactly, but I know they're working through the process. Our previous AD did a lot of work, Greg, on this, and then our current AD is working with the high school on this too. So there's other parts here. I won't lift all this to show you, but that's one half of what it will look like when it says athletics, when it opens up. So it's exciting, isn't it?
Those are really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Really.
Yeah, and they're really heavy too. I know I'm making it look easy, but those are really heavy.
Like 300 pounds. And he's picking it
Like
up.
you should just
Tell
really.
by, yeah.
You're the record poster holder.
I'm all pumped up now, yeah.
No, I appreciate the work on those because that's something we've been talking about for a while, and recognizing our history is something that we're big on. I think this starts to put it down there. We built the schools. It's nice to get these records up and some other accomplishments that we'll be talking about here shortly.
They look so much better than the old ones that we
Yeah.
had that
Yeah.
were incomplete. So,
Yeah. Well, and that, once we get it started then too, then it'll incumbent to keep them updated, but we'll do that.
Yep.
And then like I said, that's basketball. I also have on here next is the military wall, honor wall that we're talking about at the high school. And we're looking at that. Mr. Shipton's been leading that with Deb Merrill. One of the things we want to do, and I know this was one of the early conversations I had when it came to the district with the board, was making sure we cover recognitions in many ways. So we're going to look at our wall space and real estate, in this day and age with so many windows sometimes, and you lose, and as successful as this district is, we could have no windows probably and have the walls covered. So we'll look at this, but we're going to look at the veteran military honor wall, and we're looking at some other areas of recognition that we can follow up on. So more to come on that.
And we've got the academic
Yeah.
ones up there, so.
We got
I like
some of the
it.
academic. I think
Yeah.
we're going to do even more with that though too. We're talking about. So,
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I mean, we can start recognizing our academics, our military, and our athletics within each of the buildings there. I think that's really great to do, so.
All of
Yeah.
our student accomplishments.
Yeah.
Yes. Even things, think about it like, look at how successful some of our career tech programs are becoming too. So if they have recognitions there, we want to make sure we get it. We knew last year we had one of our students placed high in that system.
save some wall space.
The wire off.
Well, one of the things, we need a new high school at some point. I mean, when our growth happens, then we'll have more planning there for that, so we'll get it. Cornell School, wanted to give the board an update. Been working on Cornell School. Some of that is just, it's a long process, and always appreciate the efforts of the Friends of Cornell School. So with the board's I guess I'll say it's nothing official, but we have started to take over some of the financial responsibilities. So Mrs. Drumming was able to get the building in our insurance, so the Friends of Cornell School no longer, they were actually able to get a stop payment on their insurance check. So we have that covered, and then utilities we're taking care of. Maintenance, we're working on that. We're going to have our maintenance team. Some things are going to take longer than expected, not to dig too much in the weeds here, but we're going to need connectivity to Cornell at some point. But that'll be a little bit down the road, probably 18 months or so, because the head end of the new connectivity for the server for this building in Cornell will be in that multi-purpose building. So we don't have that yet. And just overall, it still hasn't transferred yet, but it's coming together. There's a question about whether we need another survey or not, and there's been 2 done in the past, and we thought one was being done now, and so we're working through all that. But it's just, it's a specialized area of law, and they've shared with us that because the school is on our property, we may not need a survey anyway. So we want to make sure we get all the legal boxes checked there. But any questions I can answer about Cornell?
No, I just appreciate your work on it.
Yeah, it looks like it's just a long process, and it's a very specialized area of law. So as an update for today, we checked back with the county auditor, and then they're checking with the recorder to see if we do need the survey or not. So I'll keep everyone updated. We're going to talk about security, safety and security, and we thought one of the best things, because I don't always show local news media, but I think this one captured things well. So we cued the recent channel. I'm happy to provide details afterwards, but I think it's one that bears showing right now, so I think we're ready.
Tonight, a local school district is using technology that seems straight out of a science fiction movie.
Yes, pretty neat. Johnstown-Monroe Schools now has cameras that use AI to recognize you. It's a story you'll see only on 10 TV, and Lacey Crisp shows us how the technology is used to keep students safe.
Here's the Lacey Crisp test, and in here you can see we've had 2 alerts.
Over the summer, Johnstown-Monroe School District upgraded its 400 cameras across the 4 school buildings and other facilities.
Before you came, we used one of your pictures to set up an alarm. So as soon as you approached the building, our cell phones went off with an alert that you were on our campus.
Administrators can input pictures into the system of people who cannot be on campus.
And it's so sophisticated and sensitive, we've actually had it send alerts of when people are holding a picture of that person. And so the camera can see that, it recognizes it, and then sends us an alert.
It's really the AI that is the value add for us, because it's the search functions now too, and it's the ability to anticipate.
The old cameras were set up much like your Ring cameras. They only recorded when there was motion. The Verkada cameras are always watching and recording, which allows administrators to search for just about anything. A better way to protect the 1,700 students and staff members.
So if we know, there was an incident with maybe an adult wearing a black shirt and, white pants, we can search for that, and it will immediately pull up any people we've had on our campus with fitting that description within the last 30 days.
That cuts down on the time of investigating if there is an incident on campus.
I think anything we can do from a safety standpoint, this technology is one tool, but I make sure that we understand this is not the only tool.
It knew you type in television camera, and it pulls that up.
Superintendent Dr. Philip Wagner says they're excited about all the safety options the AI technology provides, but says they still rely on a good relationship with Johnstown Police and people reporting suspicious incidents.
It's anything that we can do to try and protect people in the environment, and that's students, staff, and the community.
In Johnstown, Lacey Crisp, 10 TV News.
So again, I wouldn't normally share a broadcast like that, but they did a good job. Some of it is not clear, like when it doesn't line up with the audio, because one of the things we put in the system is we said find any delivery person. So when they talk about, they dub in Derek's voice about the black pants and all, but then
Well, that's the real crime, is black pants and white, or black shirt and white pants.
But then they
Right after Labor Day.
Right after Labor Day. Fashion faux pas there.
Small
Right?
people.
But he had demonstrated for them, like, let's look for a delivery person, and that's what that
Yeah.
shows and all. But we're always careful with that too. Like I said, don't share, because as soon as you start to share it, then it greater exposes it. But when we were able, and we appreciate the board's support on this, because what we did is we took our replacement cycle and we collapsed it in from 5 years into one. So I was a little reticent about doing that initially, but we have a 10-year warranty on the new cameras, and it's not 400, it's about 380 or so, but it's close. And so everything's upgraded, and it's just one part of it. We still use the low tech though. Like the picture is the reason why you see Craig there holding the picture, is because we want to make sure we still have that available. People can wear things on their face and that wouldn't pick up. There's other aspects that we don't talk about with AI that we're leveraging in this too. So, and probably more to come, but I'll keep that more internal so that it helps from our safety and security standpoint in our planning.
No, I appreciate it. We've got 5 buildings, over 30 doorways into all those buildings. These cameras cover all of that. That's something that no person or team can do individually. You just can't have 30 people standing at doors all day. So the cameras being there and being able to recognize and then the additional functions that we're not going to talk about, that's the safety and security that is impressive with the system. So I really am supportive of what we've done with those cameras and their potential to keep our campus secure.
Yeah. Okay. There's going to be another add-on to this that we'll keep confidential, but I'll be asking the board for some additional monies to put another layer on here that'll really help. Well, I said really, but it'll just be another layer. We'll keep it at that. I'm trying to walk that fine line. Anyways, thank you for your support on that, because again, we took those 5 years and collapsed into one. Plus, we put in with the vape sensors. We did all the cabling at one time, which there was economies there to be able to do those projects together. So, and I think that's it, unless you have questions for me.
I do not. Any questions, comments? If we can get a motion to adjourn
So moved.
and a second.
I'll second.
Call the roll.
Mrs. Boer?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Swager?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
This meeting is adjourned, 6:41. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Did anybody notice that it's got